It's Missouri week. The Sooners go to Columbia this week. I'm Barry Tramel with News OK. Joe Washington, OU legend, alongside. And I got a question for you, Joe. You ever been to Columbia, Missouri?
Twice.
Of course, the most famous, maybe the most famous play in OU history, your 71-yard run to save the Missouri game in '75, go on to the national championship. You told me something interesting a minute ago. You've never been back to Columbia since that '75 game. What are your memories of 35 years ago in Columbia?
Well, they are fun. Of course, coming up within about 3 to 4 minutes, left in the game, they weren't exactly that good. But fond memories of always a good, tough football game, no matter what the score was. I know going up there as a sophomore, we beat them, handily, but it was always a tough football game. Defensively, they beat us up, bruised us. What scores were pretty good, but it's a great place to play. Their fans, really support them. I always loved going up there because they had grass. It was one of the two places that had grass at the time I was here, them and Iowa State. So I always look forward to going up to Missouri.
Of course, that your 71-yard run, 4th and 1. Late in the game, you guys are down 27-20. Any doubt in your mind that you guys were going to go for it?
You know what? They called timeout. It was 4th and 1. And the fact that they called timeout and didn't send the punt team out, right away, made me think that, that we were going to go for it. I wasn't sure, but I know what we needed to do. And obviously they thought the same. And the only other thing I do recall is that, I really wanted the ball. This first time I probably would have even asked to at least get it to me some type of way. But I do remember that I really wanted the ball that time.
Of course, it was the option right. Steve Davis, option right, makes the pitch. What do you remember that play? Take us through that play 35 years later.
Well, I know, we were running, the timeout they called, and Steve went to the sideline, and we're standing in the huddle, and no one's saying a word. No one is saying a word. They just know we've got to get 1 yard. And I was, as I say, I was hoping that, they would, get it to me some type of way. And Steve came back. I knew we were going for it. And he told me right off the bat, he said, be ready to get the pitch. And for whatever reason, I got a certain sense of everything was going to be all right. And because I knew it's no way they could keep us from getting 1 yard at this particular point. With our backs against the wall, we're here inside our 25-yard line, and it's 4th and 1. We got to get, that. Steve called it, and I guess everybody reacted real well. I remember Victor Hicks making a great block. Offensive line did a real good job of walling guys down. And when Steve pitched the ball to me on the second step, I knew I had the first down. I knew I had the first down. I made one cut. And when I made the one cut, I said, we might get a little bit more than that one. And when I made the next cut, I knew we were going to get a chunk. I was just hoping that, no one was back there. They had a good enough angle to catch me. But I knew after I made the second cut, this was going to be off to the races. So we scored. I was really winning because I think I was really excited about, the whole fact that we were going 4th and 1, making sure I got the pitch, sort of hyperventilating because probably one of the few times I really, the anticipation kind of, took over to where I was really anxious about, getting the ball. And I remember, getting to the end zone. I almost stopped. I guess I probably stopped. I really checked it back around 5 or 10 yard line. But then, after scoring, you realize, hey, you still a point behind. And I didn't think for a moment that they were going to go for a tie. That just wasn't in our DNA, and we had to struggle a little bit more for the 2 points. Same play, a little closer to the sideline. I got the ball pitched, but I was really concerned about sliding on the grass because when the sun goes down on our side of the field, it's still shining on the other side, but that side of the field, the dew has started to form on the grass and it was a little slick. So I was a little concerned about that. But as I always tell people, Ray Charles, Jose Feliciano, and Stevie Wonder, they all knew I made touchdown.
They say in Columbia you didn't make it. I think millions of Oklahomans would disagree. Well, Joe Washington, thanks. Appreciate it. And anytime the Sooners go to Missouri, one thing comes to mind, and that's Little Joe's big run.
Well, I appreciate it, Bear. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Joe Washington and Missouri.